Hey, we are live. Welcome to our first live,
Yes, it's
actually.
our first live. I sort of taking the leap here and jumping in. I don't know who's joined us. I hope that there is an audience out there.
Come watch us. Stick around. That we won't be on for very long, but I'm by the way, I'm Diana J. Brodie. I am a longtime freelance video editor for nearly 3 decades, and this is colleague, cinematographer Michael Franks. Over 3 decades as a cinematographer. Say hi to the people, Michael.
Hi, hi, Diana. Thank you, Diana, for introducing me. I'm a cinematographer for film and television, and I've been doing this from many years, from Saturday Night Live days to current. And Diana and I thought that we would get on live and talk about the state of the industry because we hear a lot of positive, negative, misinformation, and so on. So it's good to talk about what is going on and then ultimately what you can do about it. So Diana, why don't you talk a little bit about what we've been talking about what are the facts really?
Yeah, because Michael and
Oh,
I have
oh
been
yeah. One other
talking about
thing,
this.
sorry to interrupt you. One
Oh,
other
yeah,
thing we
go
want to say is for those of you who are on this, hope you'll stick around to the end because we do have some links and some other info, not only to stay in touch with us or ask us questions that may come up later, but some other info.
Hey, and we shout out to Chocolate Milk. I know who you are. And Justin Nettie, thank you for tuning in. Glad to see you guys, and thanks for the props. Really appreciate that. Uh, but okay, so let's get down to it, right? Let's start with the state of the industry as it sits right now. So you know, man, this is really an unprecedented slowdown. This is just, we just have to call it for what it is. Uh, we are watching an historic shift in our industry. Uh, and Look, cable worked for a reason. Cable lasted for decades and TV lasted for decades for a reason. It was a really solid model. Everybody made money. And now with the streamers and with Netflix and everybody following Netflix lead, it's just unsustainable. So much content.
Yeah.
And I think we all knew that that was unsustainable even while in the middle of it.
Yeah, I mean, talk a little bit about what you said yesterday, which was to remind you, you were talking about how there are all these individual streamers, and in order to find out what's on any one of them, you really have to be on each one of them versus the way it used to be.
Right. Yeah. Everything is so diffuse and so spread out. Today, I had to times a ticking for voting for the Emmy nominations for who can get nominated. Right. So I was filling out the Emmy nominations today. Who I thought should be nominated, and more than any other year, I'm looking down the list of shows, and there are some shows I've never even heard of. And I was just like, this is just crazy. How are shows going to get any kind of traction? They have to kind of just hope and pray that they hit into the zeitgeist to get
Right.
eyeballs on their
Or
shows.
they're in your algorithm. I mean, that's the other
Right.
thing is they have to be in your algorithm. You have to have liked something similar to it. So the other thing that we were talking about, so the streamers and the way that model. There's an article that we were reading, which is called the what is it? The Bird. It's on Vulture, and it was about the binge purge, is what it's called, which really explains it in detail about how this happened, how we got here, and so on. The other thing that we were researching was about the history of slowdowns. I mean, we've had in this century,
Right.
we've had the 9/11. We've had there was the writer strike of 2007, and then the crash of 2008. And all these times, there have been other slowdowns in our industry.
Right.
This is really an unprecedented time. Um, so, anyway, not to necessarily belabor, unless there's anything else you want to add to that about the state of things.
Well, I mean, I think, things I just want to just want to mention, things are going to rebound to a point. The streamers are going to start to consolidate. We've already seen that starting to consolidate. And then, things are going to ramp back up. They're not going to be as massive as they used to, but there's still content that is going to be made and that is being made right now. So, Michael, you were talking about yesterday, when we were talking about this, uh, you know, what do we do? So this
Yeah.
is, so that was the history of things. There have been slowdowns
Yeah.
before. We're in this massive slowdown right now, and we're all feeling it. Uh,
Right.
but but go
And
ahead,
the thing
Michael,
that,
speak to
yeah,
that.
and the thing that I tend to hear from a lot of people is all of this doom and gloom about it's never coming back. This is it for a lot of people, and a lot of people are uh, jumping ship or moving out of town and so on. That's what I mean. The state of things is very different than it ever was. There are people leaving in droves and so on. However, it's what I want to get to is the however. Those are the circumstances, and the circumstances are what they are. You can't necessarily do anything about the circumstances, but what you can do is how you deal with the circumstances.
Mm.
An example of in times of crash, Great Depression or 2008 or whatever, there were people who took advantage of that downturn and positioned themselves to be ready for the upturn. And so Diana and I were talking, and one of the things we said is that there's our circumstances, and then there's what you do in the face of the circumstances.
Mm.
You are not your circumstances, but how you think affects how you feel, and ultimately affects what you do. So if you're in that mode of feeling like doom and gloom and it'll never happen, and they're right, and you lean into that side of things, you're going to make one set of choices. If you take this as an opportunity instead and think about what you can do. We're all creatives in this industry. We've never had really control over how we get hired. You can only create the environment to get hired. So one of the things that I was talking to Diane about was that we're entrepreneurs. We have to think about
Right.
our careers in a business mindset. Even though we are creatives, we have to put on that other hat, so to speak. So one of the things that you can do during this time, some of the things you can do is to work on your skills. We were to work on skills, work on relationships, networking, get better at networking. If you're a cinematographer, take this opportunity to go test equipment, check out lenses. There's so many things going on here in LA, and I'm sure all across the country in different centers. Let's talk a little bit about AI, Diana,
Right.
because you really had a view of that. That was something that you
Yeah.
mentioned today.
One of the things that I've been doing in this slowdown, and this is the slowest I've been in nearly 30 years. And so one of the things that I've been doing is I've been taking this opportunity really to learn as many AI apps as I can shove into my brain at one time, because you never know. I mean, look, there's a colleague of mine who, the CMO, the chief marketing officer at this large tech company, said to him, we're not hiring any editors anymore. I want you to do everything with AI only. Run it all through AI. And he was like, I don't think you're going to like that. And he's like, no, that's what we're doing. We're going to save money and just AI everything. So he took, like, a couple of projects and he shoved it into the AI, and then he sent it to the CMO, and the CMO's like, this is awful. And he's like, isn't it though? And so there's still going to be a need for editors. Speaking on the post side of the screen, right? There's still going to be a need for editors. Editors are going to need to learn these AI apps and what they can do. A lot of that's being integrated into Premiere. Premiere is really leading on the NLEs right now in AI integration, and uh, and so, it's like back in the day. We both, Michael and I, are old enough to Remember when there was a world without Photoshop? And then one day there was Photoshop. It just came in, and everybody said, all the graphic designers are going to go out of business. There's not going to be any more graphic designers anymore because you can do anything you want to do all by yourself in Photoshop in your home. And I'm like, you can, but it's going to look like garbage. Like all these people just forcing things into Descript and CapCut and all these AIs and trying kicking things out. It's not everybody's good at it. Not everybody can tell a
Right.
story. Not everybody can be a graphic designer. So still graphic designers, even though Photoshop's been around forever. And I know Michael, I'm like,
Yeah.
I need to, my screen is mirrored.
Yes.
Michael, I know you were talking about that too from the production side of things.
Yes. So just to your point is that not everyone can do it, but you can learn them. That's something that you can do, how it relates to whatever it is you do. An example of that is something that came up the other day. I was talking to a producer who had just been in a meeting, and he's putting together a team of scenic designers, production designers and costume designers and DPs for a project. And he said what he was really impressed with were the costume designers and scenic designers who knew how to use the AI, because they could show him the actual costumes for this fantasy project. It took place in, I don't know, in space or in something, and they could actually say these are what the costumes are going to look like. And then there were costume designers who came into the meeting who didn't have AI, didn't have the thing fully fleshed out. They would have images of what the things are sort of like. So they're like this and sort of a little bit like this. Can you imagine what that would look like? Or they drew them with some pictures and so on. So the same thing with sets. You can actually create. So if you're good at it, or if you get good at it, you can actually use these tools to serve yourself and serve the industry and serve what you really want to do. So I think in terms of, instead of being afraid and thinking that AI is going to replace you, they're tools.
Right.
Really
Right.
powerful.
Yeah. I mean, the point is, right, if someone has a Photoshop file that I'm using in a video and they send that to me and they say, hey, we need to change the name on that, I know enough Photoshop that I can go in and change the name. Same with After Effects. Even though I suck at After Effects, I can go in and I can change a lower third. I'm not going to be able to create that lower third, but I can change that, the moving graphic lower third, but I can change the name on that. I know enough of the tool so that I can use it.
Yeah.
The point is, and I believe, Michael, this was your point yesterday when we were just chatting, and then came up with this idea to do the live because we were, so passionate about this topic. Is that there's always the thing that's the killer of the industry. Just start learning that stuff. I would say, go out and just go through Descript, go through CapCut. People are going to want things to look like what you can do with these apps. And I used Descript just the other day because I was doing a corporate video where the guy was reading off a Word document on his screen, so his eyes were here. Well, I took it into Descript, by the way, not getting any kickbacks from any of these companies I've mentioned, just mentioning them because I've been using them.
Unfortunately,
Yeah, unfortunately, we have not monetized our discussion here. And I moved the eye line up. Almost everything else you can do in these are getting integrated into Premiere, and I'm assuming that Premiere is going to just keep innovating as
yeah,
these smaller apps, and those smaller apps will go away, and you'll be able to do it there, because not everybody wants to look like they're a 21-year-old content creator. Amex, IBM, these companies don't, they want to mirror that look. So you need to know that look,
yeah.
but they want to do it in a classy way that speaks to their brand.
Right,
So,
I agree. The other thing I was thinking while you were talking about that was, I don't know if how many people are on this at all. I can't always see Facebook or any of these things, but certainly in the comments, if you guys have questions,
right.
or if any of this is resonating with you, or maybe it's not resonating with you, just feel free to make some comments so we know who's out there and whether you have questions or
Right.
any of that. we thought we'd do this. Really, the purpose of doing this is because both feel very strongly about making a difference for other people, not just our own careers,
Right.
but supporting other people in moving their careers forward. And that creating a community of people who are like-minded, who support each other, where you can support each other in terms of moving forward in whatever area that is. So Diana has her Next Level Academy, where she teaches editing. She's having a boot camp this weekend, where people
Well,
who
funny
what
you should mention, Michael. I happen
yeah.
to have, just in case.
The thing I
But
have to say though about Diana, I'm just going to kind of embarrassingly compliment you. Diana has a great boot camp and an academy for editors who may already know Premiere. This boot camp is about learning Avid. It has everything you need to know to get going, and so that you can actually double your income because you'll know both platforms thoroughly. And it's really incredibly inexpensive compared to what things cost. I think, what is it, Diana, for the 2 days?
usually it's a little bit more, but it's $57 because, and for 2 days and a couple of Q&As also the following week for any questions,
Yeah,
because
they get to be in front of you, and they
things
get
are
your.
tough all over. Yeah.
That's what I would say is really what, not only for the information, because you could probably find this in a book or whatever, but Diana steps you through this, and not only that, you get to have a Q&A with her and some one-on-one time. Is it one-on-one that they get to?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I'm
and
sorry I
there's
interrupted you.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, quite all right. No, and I was just gonna say, one of the other things when we were talking about what you can do, right, is, one, you can level up your skills, and my Avid bootcamp this weekend's one way you can do that, but, there's so many different ways. Just start in your downtime instead of getting in your head, you know, flip your thinking. One of the things we want to talk about was we want to flip people's thinking about this. So any skill that you've been wanting to build on, now is the time to do it while things are slow. Inevitably, they're going to ramp back up, and you're going to need to get out there and promote yourself again, and you're going to want those skills. Also, not for nothing, right? Is we've got Michael's got a networking webinar coming up, and his webinar is going to be on June 27th. Free webinar, hour long webinar,
Yep.
Michael,
Yep.
hour long webinar. And if you're anything like me, and geez, I hope you're not, but like people like me and in post who just want to be in their own little, their own little cave, hate to network, hate it with the white hot passion of 1,000 suns. And just going to a networking event and standing there with a drink and talking to the one person doesn't count as networking. So
Yeah.
let Michael help you, because he is a savant at
Thank
this.
you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's something that years ago I learned, and it really advanced my career. I felt very similarly about networking events and um, follow up. What do you say to people? It's everybody feels it. Whether you're a cinematographer, whether you're even if you're an actor, people don't know how to overcome common things that people avoid networking with. So that's what the webinar is about. I call it 5 keys to successful networking in the entertainment industry, because unfortunately, talent is not all you need. It's about knowing the right people to get the jobs that you want and move your career forward. Um, the other thing that we talked about was, in your career, I've started to think about it in terms of 4 different categories or pillars that you can get better at in terms of having a successful career. And is it okay if I talk? Should
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, run them down, because this is good information. This is just ways to shift your mindset during this, because I know, for one, for me, I can get into a very dark place when I'm not working and I don't have work coming in, and I start to lose it a little bit. And Michael's a great resource on this for ways to shift your mindset, and these pillars are part of that. So yeah, go run them down
Nice.
really quick.
So in the four pillars there's relationship building, which includes networking, nurturing, follow up, deepening the relationships you already have, and uh, creating new ones. And so that takes a certain strategy and a certain methodology in terms of crafting emails, and so on. There's a whole deep dive into that. The other pillar is marketing, understanding your why, what you bring to a project. Understanding who you are and what you do and why you do what you do. Why do you do this and not, why are you not into, car repair instead, or something like that? Branding, your mission, your values, and so on. The third category is the business side of the business, and thinking like a business person, not just a creative, thinking about a business plan, goals, and setting benchmarks for yourself, negotiating, organizing, staying organized with not only the contacts, but also in many other ways. Organization is key. Learning how to negotiate and price yourself without an agent, because a lot of times people don't have an agent early on, or they do have an agent and you need to learn how to partner with your agent, so on. And then the fourth pillar is self-management, which involves mindset, creating successful habits that you repeat to further yourself, skills building, which we were talking about, whether you're an editor or a cinematographer or an actor, there are skills to advance your career and get better at it. And so we use the downtime to do that. And of course, health is also under self-management, staying healthy and getting a practice and a habits to do that. So that's kind of a big data dump. I hope that wasn't, well, that's a
No,
lot, you know.
no, I think that was great, and hopefully you guys, find something helpful in all of this out there in live video land, because, you know, just having, especially having like that discipline when you were talking about that, Michael, is just, you know, get up every morning, say 20 minutes a day, I'm going to send out my resume. I'm going to get up in the morning as I have my coffee. I'm going to answer 5 job ads. I'm going to send my resume out. Then I'm going to take a walk, right? Just don't forget to have that balance, because I know, at least for me, I can get into the mindset of got to grind it out, got to grind it out. Who else can I contact? Now, hours have gone by. I haven't gotten up out of my chair. I'm in a really very narrow mind space. Get out, widen it up, and go and network. Networking is huge right now. Leveling up your skills. These are all things we can do right now. We don't have any control over these streamers unless you're an executive producer or network executive watching this. And if
Well,
you are, hire all of us, everybody
well,
you see on this,
even those folks, everybody up and down the
Right.
ladder, from above the line, is affected by this. I know a lot of network executives. Some of them have actually have lost their
Right.
jobs at the network, and they're looking to pivot. So we're all affected by this. Holly commented about, she loves the suggestion about AI, which I appreciate you guys um, putting comments in there. Um, yes, there are things you can do in terms of networking that you have not thought of, and like I was saying, what I learned, I want to share with you, which is why I'm doing that webinar. These are certain specific hacks and tools and tips that will transform the way you network. And actually, who knows, maybe you actually would go from hating it to loving it,
Yeah.
because it really does. It is the essential thing. It's the number one thing you need to learn to advance your career, is knowing the people that you don't know. Otherwise, you just kind of keep on. We were talking about that, how, Diana, you were saying how editors tend to just do the same, stay in the
Yeah.
same niche all the time. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. And to
jump.
get out.
Yeah.
And there's been a bunch I'm in the Bay Area, and there's been a bunch of new networking, uh, uh, events that have sprung up in the Bay Area that are fantastic. And I know across country, I see a lot of them. If folks are on Blue Collar Post Collective on Facebook, by the way, get no kickback from Blue Collar Post Collective.
Don't
I'm
worry.
just mentioning,
Yeah.
I'm just mentioning ones that I find super helpful. The Blue Collar Post Collective is a phenomenal resource. If you're a documentary editor, you work in any kind of documentary at all, even true crime and that kind of stuff, take a look at the Alliance of Documentary Editors. They're nationwide, so they post all the time about networking events. Start looking for these groups, right? I know some Post Chat on Facebook posts a lot about events. I believe mostly like from Las Vegas, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong about that. I'm probably wrong about that. But keep an eye out for that kind of thing, right? So that you can connect with people. There was a Chicago thing that was going down not that long ago that I saw posted. So there is stuff that's happening in the Midwest as well. So take a look, and if there's not one where you're at, start one where you're at.
Exactly.
That's something you can do also.
You can
And
create your own networking event. Absolutely.
right,
You ask 5 of your friends or 6 of your friends to each bring one person and come to your backyard, go to a coffee shop, a pizza
mm,
shop or something, and create your own networking event.
yeah, there's so try and I was in a very dark place like a couple weeks ago where I was like, geez, Louise, it's slow. And I just was like, okay, got to cut that mindset. That's not going to help me. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn a new app. Here, let me learn a new thing. Like, and that just it makes you feel better about yourself, makes you feel proactive
Yeah.
about what's happening. But
Or you
also,
reach out to someone that you know that's gonna put you in a
right.
we talk to each other all the time about
Right, right. We're
when we're
really
in that
helping
place.
each other. Yeah, when we're either of us are in that place, very helpful. So, again, I'll just mention if you're out there and I don't know why that's so big. There we go. I didn't mean that to be so huge. So if you're out there and you want to learn Avid, it's this weekend. Hop on, join us. We got a really good group brewing for this Avid boot camp. We also have Michael's networking event as well. But
And then and then the other thing I wanna just,
yeah.
also I'm gonna put my, my,
Oh yeah, let's do this. I've got yeah. Let me. If you want to reach out and talk to Michael about networking or anything that's going on in the business, this is how you can get a hold of him. And same on the post side of things. If you want to reach out, here's how you can reach out to me. And however we can help, we want to help. The reason we started all of this to begin with, this, in our copious free time, which has gotten a lot more free lately, but not when we started, was, essentially because we want to help everyone. We want everybody to succeed. We want everybody to be in the career that they want to be in and loving life and are able to pay their rent. And
yes.
and networking, skills building, all of this, and keeping a good mindset, remembering to get out and take a walk, go touch some grass on occasion. All of this is going to help you tremendously.
It is, and I, love to share things that were things I didn't know, that if
Right.
you knew what how to get there, you would be getting there. So if there are things that you struggle with, or you need some tips on how to follow up or how to craft an email, either a cold email or a warm email, there are so many different strategies that will help you in your career. And Diana works with a lot of people. I've created a program where I work with industry professionals above and below the line to uh, go to create the careers they want, go from uh, sometimes you feel like you're on a parallel track to the career that you want, to actually being on that track and learning how to do that is something that I learned years ago. I was fortunate enough to have a career coach who helped me see things that I didn't know. They don't teach you this in school. They don't teach you
Right.
how to look for work effectively. People just make cold calls or send their resume out and so on. But there are much better strategies. Instead of working harder, work smarter.
Right.
And anyway, so
And if you're right now thinking to yourself, look, I'm not working at all. So let's start working on yourself. Start working on your skills. Start learning these AI stuff, getting out there, networking. Just start doing things that are in your control, because none of this is in our control.
yeah, post a little bit in the comments if you want about some of the things you're struggling with or things that are going on for you. We're not
And
going to be on a lot longer. I think we've kind of covered it, unless there's something else that you.
unless there's something else, anybody has any questions that they want to ask, uh, uh, that'll be the wrap up for us. We don't want to go on. We don't want to prattle on too long. We
Yeah, we,
appreciate
we both
you
like
all.
jabbering on, and
Yeah.
it's.
And we were jabbering yesterday, and we thought, hey, let's do a live. We might as well jabber this in front of other people. So there you go.
Shane, yeah.
Oh, hey, Shane, thank you for asking. That Avid boot camp, I'm going to run another one, a shorter one, next month for story producers specifically. And it just sort of cuts out a lot of the technical ingest part of Avid. So I'll be running that in July, at the end of July. And I'm going to try and run the Avid boot camp like 3 or 4 times a year is really what I'd like to do, just so anybody can come in and level up their skills, because really hard to learn. I'm gonna start doing some boot camps and workshops for Premiere and Resolve eventually, and all of that. Oh, you can't do this weekend, Shane. Keep an eye out if you want. Uh, uh, and yeah, and I want to do also. I'm going to do a little thing for on AI as well. But Shane, if you can't do it this weekend, uh, the story producer stuff, if that's interesting to you, send me an email, and so that I have your email address, and I'll put you on the list so that you'll be notified when I run that at the end of July. And I'll probably do something in August too, but I haven't sussed out what folks want, what they're interested in, what they need. How can I help? How can I help you? So
No, it's good. It's really
thanks,
good.
Shane. I appreciate that.
Yeah, a lot of what I've seen some of the things that you've posted. I'm not an editor. I've tried to edit. We were talking about that yesterday, about how even though AI is one of those things where people think, oh, people are going to use AI to create all these things. Well, just like any of the editing software that's available now, it's available to everybody. But not everyone really is inclined to learn how to use it.
Right.
I know as a cinematographer, I only have a novice understanding of that. So Diana is really a pro. She knows how to go right to the heart of things and knows exactly what kind of issues people have of not what they don't know, and so on. I'm always amazed at the tips she comes up with.
Well, thank you, my good sir.
You're welcome.
And right back at you. I'll
Thank you.
pointing in the right direction. I need to mirror my image next time, so I'm not.
Yeah. Oh, go
Yeah.
on the other side or
Right.
something.
Yeah. It's a
Um,
work in progress.
So
But
I tried to post my email on this comment, but it wouldn't do it because I think it's shared through your thing. There it is. If anyone has any questions, I either if you're in post or if you're in production, if you're an actor, whatever, and you want to learn what you can do, or if you have any questions about what my program is or how you might benefit from it, feel free to reach out. I'd like to help you.
we're here to help. That's it. That's our whole purpose in life. So I think, all right, we're coming up on 35 minutes. I think that sounds like plenty. If anybody has any other questions, that's going to be it for us. Again, we'll just show you super quick. Whoa, that's crazy. We'll show you super quick. There you go. That's Michael's a networking event. If you hate networking, or you've been networking and nothing's working for you, go to this free webinar. It's worth it. This dude is a savant. I'm telling you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the kind words. It's free. It's on that link will take you to an Eventbrite where you register for it, and it'll be on Zoom. You can do it in the comfort of your own home. You don't have
But
to come out, you know, to and get a drink in your hand or anything.
right, that's right. There's no networking involved in that networking event.
Well, there might be a little.
Well, there's Zoom networking, which
Yeah,
feels like safer in some way, to dip your toes in. And the same, and that's this weekend. It's coming up soon. Hop in, folks. Come join us. Come learn Avid. Let me demystify Avid for you. That's it. That's our time. I hope you liked it as much as we like bringing it to you. And take care, everybody. Be safe out there. And good luck. We're all in this together.
we are. Find your community and support each other.
Yeah, 100%. Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks, Diana. Great
Thanks,
doing this with
Michael.
you.
This is fun, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll probably do it again so you can
Yeah.
see these two nerds again coming soon.
Yeah, I think there's only 4 people joined, so
No,
hopefully
there was more. There's more. There was a bunch.
I have no idea. All right.
Thank you for all who joined. We appreciate you.
Thank you for
We salute you.